Yeah. So how soon will Kennedy start? You're not going to just put her in a car and put her on the racetrack and have her shift. So
No.
how soon will she start learning that piece of it? Is it going to be while she's still racing and ending her other series, or in the off season of that year? How's that work?
So when she moves up to OKN, which is a direct drive engine, so she honestly will probably just practice with her at our local track pit race. Um, I'm not too like aware of that engine just because of how new it is to us this year. It's mostly just been a European thing.
Hmm.
Um, so I'll have to do some research on that and we'll we'll learn it together. It'll be a great learning experience.
Okay.
I know her stepdad Jackson's a little bit more aware of that engine package, and her team and the people she
Yeah.
works with, they all understand it a little better than I do. But
Okay.
if they can tell me something and I
Yeah.
understand it, I can relay it to her.
Right.
But we'll practice in it for a while, and when we're confident that she's ready to drive it nationally and race it, we'll send her out there.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. So, are you still racing, or are you done for the season?
We are both done for the season.
Yeah, I figured you would be because of the weather.
Yes.
Yeah, for
Yes.
sure. So, did you like the series or the things that you raced? Were you racing for like any kind of championship or anything, or was it just more experience on the track, seat time, that kind of thing?
For Kennedy, it was more seat time. This was her first national
Hmm.
season. She had never done anything like this before. For me, I was trying to race for the championship. I had a lot of bad luck this year. We ended
Hmm.
up in sixth place, which is better than nothing. So
Top
I'll
10.
take it. I'll take it. Yeah, right. But yeah, Kennedy was just seat time and racecraft this year, getting the
Okay.
experience 100%.
So I'm going to ask you some more easier, maybe questions, some more direct questions. So, we've talked about what you've raced and that kind of thing. So, what's your car number and what does your car look like, Annie?
So my car is 204. It originally was 777 when I first started out. Seven's the luckiest number in the Bible. 777's the
Yeah.
lucky number. Um, but as you go to like different series, you have to have a certain like first number so that
Okay.
they can like categorize you by classes. And
Okay.
like if they need to pull you off the track, it's just for like safety reasons, or if you get a penalty, they can easily find you. Um, so now it's 204. My cart, it's red, white, and blue themed, and I got in a bad accident about 2 months ago, so we had to get new bodywork, and now it's just orange and blue, just like everyone else under our team. It's called Magic Cart USA, so
Hmm.
um, we've got a little bit of a magic theme going on the cart.
Okay.
Um, my Compared to everyone else's cart, mine's set up a little bit differently just because of how small I am. We've got a lot of things going on. It's a very messy cart. We've got like pedal extenders, and like
Okay.
it's risen up and like pushed forward
Okay.
compared to like normal sized people where they don't
All
have
right.
that.
Okay. How
Yeah.
tall are you, Annie?
I am 5 foot.
Okay. All right.
5 foot. Yeah,
I'm
everyone
not real
else.
tall. I'm only about 5'3". So,
Okay. You
yeah.
understand the struggle.
They would have to do this. Yeah, I get in the car and I push the seat way up, and my
Yeah.
husband's 6'2", and so he gets in and he pushes the seat way back. So
Big
I get
difference.
it for sure.
Yeah. hmm Yeah, Kennedy's
So
actually taller than me.
okay, I was just going to ask
Yeah.
her that. So Kennedy, you're taller than her, and and that's okay. You're probably, you don't need all those special pieces, so you can jump in the car. And so, what is your cart color, and what is your number?
My number is 825. Was 225 for up until I started doing nationals, and it had to be 825 because of the categorization thing. So now it's
Okay.
825, and I have the same livery as everybody else on my team. It's the MPG and Race Factory livery. It's
Okay.
and it's red, white, and black. And
Okay. All
yeah.
right. Very cool. So, Annie, do you have a most memorable moment so far in your career?
Oh boy. Honestly, 2 years ago we were racing at my local track pit race. And I was struggling a lot that year, honestly, and it was only my second year in shifter, and I set 4 track records at pit race, and it was just like qualifying, I set the track record, pre-final, I set the track record, final, I set the track record. Like I just kept beating myself, and like I was trying to get better each time. I wasn't like, oh, I set the track record, like I'm done. Like that's
Right.
good enough. I was like, okay, I have to get better. Like I want to see how fast I can go.
Mm-hmm.
And like each time I broke that record, everyone just like they were so proud of me and like happy for me, and that
Yeah.
was just such like a pivotal point in my career. Like I struggled so much learning how to drive this thing, and now everyone's like proud of me.
Yeah.
That was such a memorable moment that I have in racing.
I'm sure. Kennedy, how
Yeah.
about you? Do you have a memorable moment?
Yeah, mine's not as heartwarming. Hopefully I'll have to
They're
have
not all heartwarming.
have
Sometimes the memorable moments are the bad wrecks they've had. I've had people do
Yes.
that. So it's memorable. I didn't say it had to be wonderful.
yeah. Mine is probably, I think it was like the first or second day I was in my new K100, and I kept messing up this one corner, turn 3 at my home track. And Annie and one of my other mentors, Race Liberante, was there. And Race had these flip-flops on, and he was standing in the middle of turn 3, and he was getting so frustrated at me because I was just so close to nailing this corner, and I just couldn't. It just wasn't clicking for me yet. So every time I'd miss the corner, he'd throw one of his flip flops at me as I was going on the corner, and then I'd mess up another corner like just around, and then he'd throw his flip flop. He'd run across the track and then throw his flip flop at me again, and that went on for about 3 sessions, maybe more. So,
Yes.
that was,
So it's memorable because it was funny and you were
yes,
getting frustrated, but he was making you laugh
Yes.
regardless of that, for
yes,
sure.
yes.
So it sounds like you both have pit crews, car
Yes.
chiefs, that kind of
Hmm.
thing. Is it,
Yeah.
do you want to mention who they are? Give them a shout out, Annie?
Yeah, so Checkered Motorsports and Magic Kart USA. Checkered Motorsports is the team, Magic Kart USA is the chassis that they built and run. Um, all of the Budozo family, Robbie, Andrew, Chuba, they've all gotten me to where I am today. AJ Myers, my coach, um, and my dad. Honestly,
Yeah.
we've all just been doing it together all these years, and I wouldn't be where I am today without them.
Yeah, absolutely. Kennedy, how about you?
Yeah, my team, MPG and Race Factory. I was originally on Race Factory, and then they merged the two teams. So now everybody under the tent's just like a second family. But my 2 mentors under there are mainly, well, 3, I guess. Billy Vincent, Race Liberante, and Chase Jones. They've just been there and helping me through every step of it this year for my first year. And my stepdad, my mom, do
Yeah.
everything for me.
Okay. Yeah, you got to get the family in there because
Yep.
where would you be without them, for sure?
Right.
Yeah. So, if Annie, it sounds like you've had a bad day or two at the track, as everybody does. what do you do? How do you get past that? Either to race later that day, to race next weekend. Your mindset is so huge in racing, as you well know. So tell us, how do you get past a bad day? And then Kennedy, we're going to ask you the same thing so you can think about it.
Honestly, I have to sit with it for a while. Like as soon as I come off the track, you can't talk to me. Like I'm just in a mood, I'm in a zone. Um, Obviously I didn't get the result I wanted, so I just sit with it. I think about if it was in my control or if it was out of my control. I have to think of like there was nothing I can do to go and change the result. So you just gotta move forward, look at the positives.
Yeah.
I've surrounded myself with a great group of people that lift me up when I'm down. Everyone under the team is just very supportive and they know how to make me laugh, even when I don't want to. So yeah, I find my people and I make sure that I'm comforted, basically.
Yeah. That's important. That's important to have people who can support you. Kennedy,
Absolutely.
what do you do?
Well, this year, pretty much every weekend has ended kind of roughly. With the national races, I just haven't had the best of luck, kept getting taken out. So the first round, made it to the main event. That was like the main goal, and I got taken out first corner of the first lap, and I just came off, and it was my goal. I made the main, and I just kept like a happy mindset. And this previous race, my last one of the season, I had wreck every session for like 5 sessions straight, and but my only goal all year was to finish a main because the previous 3 I haven't finished the main event, and I just wanted to finish one. So I just kept going, and I finished the main, got into a wreck first lap again, and I finished the race with a bent chassis, a nose cone that was dragging on the track the whole time. But I was just happy. I finished top 15 too.
There you go.
It was
it
was like both my goals in one, even if I could have done better. I mean, I did the best
right,
and it was my goal. So just kept
and when you get taken out by other people, I have a young gal that I follow pretty closely. I've met several times that I really, really like. And she races, 99% of her competitors are men. And she's a beautiful young gal, just like you guys. And she gets taken out deliberately because she's a good driver and she wins. And she gets taken out deliberately because they don't want her to win. And after a while, I just think that either those men need to grow up or she needs to race somewhere else. And she did finally quit going to one track because of what they did. And so, are you racing against mostly guys? And is it just they're not being malicious, it's just what's happening? Or you're the only girl and they don't want you to pass them? What do you think, Kennedy?
I am one in my group for stars. There's only one other girl. We're kind of on different side of the tracks most of the time. So I don't think that getting taken out most times it's just a racing incident.
Okay.
Other times I don't really know. I can't really speak for that, but
Yeah.
I think most times it's just racing. It just happens.
Okay. And as you get more comfortable and get better, you'll probably be able to react better too to some of the things happening around you.
Right now, I'm kind of in the group right in the middle where all the wrecks happen.
Yeah.
So once I start to get a little bit faster, I just have like a little bit until I'm out of that, and then I'll be good. Probably next year, probably be good. So
yeah. Annie, do you have any issues with who you race against, or are you the only gal, or is there more besides you?
I've usually always been the only girl. When I was racing in Kennedy's class, it was pretty rough. It was pretty blatant that I was just getting taken out on purpose. That's why we moved up to shifter, honestly, just because different level of maturity. Like I said, I'm driving against grown men now. But yeah, I've always been the only girl, and I've been okay with it. I just make do.
Right. And that's one of the things that, as a coach, you can help Kennedy through because you've been there. And
Absolutely.
it can be very frustrating and that, but it's unfortunately it's part of life. I mean, I'm a huge NASCAR fan, and you watch NASCAR, and those are guys against guys. And they have an issue, they take each other out, and I've seen Haley Deegan get taken out, and you're thinking, why was that necessary? And so I'm glad she's moving up to Xfinity. I think she's going to do better in there instead of the trucks. In fact, the truck race is on right now. It's right above your head. You just can't see.
Multitasking.
So Carson Hocevar is from our town, and I've known him for a long time. And he and my granddaughters used to race quarter midgets against each other. And so I have to say I'm a little partial in the truck series towards him. And the playoffs are coming, and he's running second. And so I hopefully I got one eye on him and one eye on you guys. Oh, goodness. So what is your goal for your racing career? Now everybody wants to be a race car driver, but where do you see yourselves? What kind of car will you be driving? Let's just say in 10 more years. In 10 years, Kennedy's going to be 24 and you're going to be 28. And so in 10 years, where do you want to be?
I'd say I've always loved sports car racing. I really love the IMSA field. I want to race sports cars. I want to race an IMSA. I feel like that's the goal. But if someone wants to put me in an Indy car, someone wants to put me in a NASCAR, I'm not going to object. I like the IMSA field. I like sports cars. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Kennedy, how about you? Have you had time to think about where you want to be?
I've always really loved open wheel cars, so like formula cars and stuff like that. So IndyCar, my long-term goal, that would be like a dream come true, or Indy Lights, anything like that. That would just be wonderful.
So do you know who Beth Peretta is?
No.
She owns an Indy team.
Oh, does she?
Owns an IndyCar team, and she's from Detroit. So we're going to have to connect you with her and get you on her radar. So she's a lovely lady, and she had an all-woman team. I don't think it was last year. I think it might have been the year before. In the last 3 years, and it was an all-woman team, which was really cool. But
really cool.
And Lynn St. James, I know her. She ran in that series, and there's been several women. And so those are the women you want to get yourselves connected to. And I'll send the interview over to them so they can hear it, both of you girls, because they're all lovely ladies, and they all want women to succeed in motorsports. And so that would be great for sure. So we've almost reached an hour. Are you girls okay going on just a little further, or do you need to?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm good. Okay? Absolutely.
Okay. So there's not any other girls in your, that you race against. Do your friends, like when you're in college now, but when you were in high school, Annie or Kennedy now, do your friends think it's weird that you race a car? Do they think it's cool? What? Annie?
I feel like there's a widely known stereotype when I tell people that I race go-karts. They're like, "Oh, you race Mario Kart? That's so cool. Oh. You just drive in circles? I'm undefeated in Mario Kart." And I'm just like, yep, that's it. Spot on. You're right. You got it.
And you don't try to explain it to them?
Well, I make a joke at first,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then if they
Okay.
just like, if they're not into it or like they don't take it seriously, I let it be. Like, there's no point
Yeah.
in arguing.
Right.
But people that are interested in it, I'm like, oh yeah, check out my website, check out my YouTube videos. They're
There you
awesome.
go.
Like, this is racing. Um, I've had a few good friends that have been like very supportive and like asking about how my races went, or like they see my Instagram posts and they're like, they know what happened and they're asking about it. Those are the kind of people you got to surround yourself with.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kennedy, how about
So,
you? High school can be kind of crazy.
Yeah, well, ever since I started, like I always thought it was so cool because I understood racing and like go-karts. And I started to realize, and like people would say stuff to me that they didn't understand it, and they think it's weird, and it's like, oh, you race go-karts, and because
Yeah.
they don't understand it. And it doesn't really, like, it really bothered me at first because like I would almost like get made fun of for it. And it didn't bother me that I got made fun of for it. It bothered me that they didn't understand it, and that they would, if they actually knew, they would think that it was so cool and they'd want to do it, and
Mhm.
they'd be just obsessed with it as I am.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's toned down a lot, and actually most of them almost understand it now because of
Yeah.
most of my teachers. Like my world history teacher, he loves racing. When I told him that I had to miss his class for stars a couple months ago, he couldn't believe that I was racing go-karts. He was just so excited about it, and it just made me so happy because it's just
Yeah.
such a good feeling when you meet someone like that you don't know from racing that understands what go-karting is. Because
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. If I didn't know what it was, somebody told me that they race go-karts, I'd think that they were kind of crazy because I just think of like Mario Kart and banana peels and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't sound very cool when they were like, "Oh yeah, I'm a go-kart driver because I race go-karts," and it doesn't sound like it makes sense. But all my friends are super supportive of it, and so even if they don't,
I've interviewed, gosh, 300 more between the magazine and the podcast. And it amazes me. And it's not a lot anymore. It was more when I first started back in 2017. It's not a lot, but it breaks my heart when I had a girl that I did a magazine story on recently, and she doesn't it sounded like she doesn't have a lot of friends at school because she's gone every weekend
Mhm.
racing or whatever.
Yeah.
She doesn't talk about it at school because they don't understand it. Just like what you just said, they don't understand it. They make fun of her, and so she doesn't even talk about it. So she has a passion for something, just like maybe somebody at school has a passion for volleyball or softball
Mhm.
or basketball or cheerleading, any of
Yep.
those things. It's okay for them to talk about it and
Mhm.
wear their uniform and their jersey, whatever, because everybody gets it.
Right.
But because they don't get it, she's not allowed to even really talk about her passion or share it because she feels funny. She feels ridiculed
Mhm.
about it. And when I
Yep.
hear those stories, um, gosh, it just breaks my heart because I think that's just such small-minded people that they
Mhm.
can't open up their minds and see that we all have something, and just because it's not what you like doesn't mean it's not a good thing.
Right.
Um, and so, I mean, you girls sound like you have a good support system and you have friends who get it. And it
Mhm.
only takes one teacher, Kennedy,
Yeah.
to like it, and then he might ask you something about it in front of the other kids in class, or he
Mhm.
might tell some of the other teachers, hey, did you know Kennedy races go-karts? Then the word's going to kind of spread, and it's going to become more of a cool thing because you're probably the only one in your school that does it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
you know Absolutely. And so you have to just remind yourself, that just because they don't get it doesn't mean it's not still very cool.
Oh yeah.
And,
Yep, I
you
get it.
know, yeah, absolutely, for sure. So I'm proud of you for, first of all, I'm glad you have support system,
Mhm.
and I'm glad you're able to at least share it at school for sure.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I ask, are you a role model for younger drivers? Well, duh. We know the answer to that, don't we? So I'm going to just skip right over that. But how have you, Annie, and then Kennedy, how have you or will you make an impact on the motorsports industry? Like, let's just say, and I know you're young and it's hard to know the answer to this maybe, but how do you, what do you want when you're, let's say when you're 60 and you look back at your racing career, you raced for 50 years or you were involved with racing for 50 years. What do you want people to remember about you?
I feel like I want people to think of me in a positive way. I want to be that role model that a lot of younger women in racing don't have. Um, there's a lot of people that I look up to, Sarah Fisher, Lynn St. James. There's a lot of
Yeah.
people that are giving back to the sport, and making these opportunities for women in motorsports.
Right.
And I want to do something like that, like 100%. I want to give back to the sport. I don't just want to take all the opportunities for myself. I want to help younger drivers like Kennedy come up through the rankings.
Yeah. Awesome. Kennedy, what about you?
Kind of along the same lines as Annie, like helping younger girls, but mainly opening up the idea that just because we're a girl doesn't mean we can't do everything that the guys can do, like picking up go-karts from stands and stuff like that, or anything like that, working on a car, working on a go-kart, stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, because I didn't even ask you that if you're hands-on with your carts. And I know when you're in school, it's hard, that has to be number one. But do you help at all? Are you hands-on, or does your crew pretty much do it?
Oh yeah, I built
Yeah.
my whole go-kart right now. We're pretty hands-on.
Yeah.
Carson
Kennedy's very
Hoselar just won
hands-on.
the race, girls. Ha ha.
Yeah.
Yay, had to interrupt. Sorry. Obviously, we're recording this on October 21st. And it's 2:00 in the afternoon, and he just made it into the round of 4 in the playoffs. So you guys got good luck to him, and he won substantially by over 2 seconds. So anyway, sorry to interrupt, but I'm so excited for him. Can't even say it. So anyway, sorry about that. But yeah, I don't even remember what we were talking about. How you make an impact. Helping the younger girls, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, because Kennedy, as you get older, maybe you're going to be the one to help the next generation, kids 4, 5, 6 years younger than you. And to keep passing that on, they always say, I do a lot of reading, listen to a lot of podcasts, and one of the things they say, like if you're training somebody, all you have to be is one step ahead. So if you're training somebody on how to use Canva, you only have to know a little bit more than the person you're training. And as long as you always know a little more. And so that's with you girls. Annie's learning, and then she's passing it to Kennedy. And then at some point, Kennedy will pass it to whoever. And so we just want to keep that string of education there going down the line for sure. So social media, it's a big deal. Like it or not, it's a big deal. So Annie, how do you use social media to share what you do and all those kinds of things? And then if you're willing to share how people can follow you, and then I'm also going to have you send that to me in a document so that I can put it in the show notes. So how can people follow you and see how you're doing?
So I usually post a lot of what's happening in the weekend on Instagram, and then that'll automatically post to Facebook. So if you want to follow my Instagram, it's just Annie Rhule _. And then my Facebook is my personal Facebook, and it's just my name, Annie Rhule. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Easy enough.
Yes.
Kennedy, how about you?
Yeah, I post some of the same stuff, just like weekend recaps, and then I do all of my sponsorship and promotional content for my sponsors on there, which gravitate more towards promotional reels of me talking about my story and
Okay.
talking about the products of my sponsors. And then I also just do like silly things. Like me and Annie have a picture of us waving at the camera. And just be me and Annie saying hi to the race weekend. Just
Yeah.
stuff like that. Just little things like that.
But you know, that's so important. It
Mm-hmm.
can't always be just about your races.
Right.
People want to know who you are. Who is
Yeah.
Annie Rhule? Who is Kennedy Tracey? They want to know, what do you like? What's your favorite food? We're going to ask you that in a minute anyway. What is it about you that I connect to you? I want to follow you. And so
Mhm.
those are the things that I wish more people felt comfortable doing,
Right.
you know, really sharing about themselves so that people can get to know them. So
Mhm.
I think that's great. So I'll have you girls, like I said, when we're done, you can send me a little note and give me all your links and stuff for your social media, and we'll share those so people can follow you. So this is the fun part. It's called the quick answer section.
Yay.
I want to know all your favorites. So I'm
Okay.
going to ask you, like the first one is your favorite food or restaurant. Annie, you go first. Kennedy, you go after that. And then we'll just go down the line and see if we can learn a little bit more about you girls.
Okay.
All right, Annie, favorite food or restaurant?
Okay. I am a sucker for hibachi food.
Okay.
I love fried rice, chicken. I'll mix it all up. It's my favorite.
Okay. Kennedy?
I like Mexican food. I love tacos. Any
Okay.
Mexican restaurant up my alley.
Yeah. Okay. I like Mexican too. Favorite beverage?
I only drink water, so water.
Okay.
Dr.
Kennedy?
Pepper. Dr. Pepper.
Okay. Annie, she's drinking soda. Not good. Okay. We'll pick on you, Kennedy. Okay, Annie, favorite racetrack food?
Racetrack food. Ooh. I'd say fruit. I feel like fruit's always a pickup at the racetrack.
Yeah, good. Kennedy.
My title sponsor is French fries. Smokin' Dave's French fries.
Oh yeah, I love French fries, and you can tell I don't eat as healthy as I should. But favorite color?
Blue.
Pink.
Okay. Favorite animal?
Cow.
Dog.
Okay. A favorite vacation destination, either where you've been or where you would like to go.
Aruba.
Okay.
I like any beach.
Any beach.
Like
Good answer.
beaches.
We could go to Aruba with her. Then
Yeah.
you could have vacation together. Favorite candy or snack?
Granola.
Oh,
Bagels.
you're too darn healthy. No wonder you're so tiny. Kennedy.
I like bagels.
Okay. Favorite place to shop?
Target.
I don't know. Maybe Amazon because they have everything. I don't
Target
know.
is the number one answer, just so you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Target's pretty cool too.
Target. Favorite racetrack?
Pittsburgh International Race Complex.
All right.
Track house in South
Okay.
Carolina.
Okay. Favorite movie, actor, or actress?
Favorite movie. I love the Fast and Furious saga, but just like the first two. Only the first two.
You don't want to keep going when Paul dies.
No, yeah. So there's no point.
No. I know those blue eyes. Oh my gosh. Okay, how about you, Kennedy?
My favorite movie is Ford versus Ferrari.
Oh, I love that movie.
Mhm.
Yeah. Have you ever seen I think it's called Enzo. Have you seen the movie about the dog?
Yes.
I
The Heart of
tried
Racing in
so
the Rain.
Racing in the Rain. That's
So
it.
hard.
What a great
Oh,
movie.
so sad.
It's so sad.
So sad, but what a great movie. It really is.
Yeah.
It really
Yeah.
is a great movie.
It is.
Okay, I digress. Favorite musician, song, or type of music?
I like country music.
Me too. Me too. Kennedy.
I like pop music.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're not a Swiftie?
No. No.
Um,
I listen to
okay.
more like Lana Del Rey. So not really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll let you have that one. Favorite sports team, not racing related?
Steelers.
Of course.
Only when they're doing good.
Well, they're not doing too bad.
No, not this
Kennedy?
year.
Same. Steelers.
Yeah. You almost had to say that. It's football season.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite professional race car driver?
Charles Leclerc.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kennedy?
Jamie Chadwick. And when I went to the IndyCar race for Mid Ohio, I actually got to meet her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Good.
was-
I'm glad you know her. That's cool.
Yeah.
Favorite holiday?
Christmas.
Okay. This is not a hard question.
I don't know.
Kennedy.
I like Thanksgiving, Christmas, just like
Yeah.
that time right there.
Yeah, that month in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that too. It starts on Thanksgiving with all the football, and that's my
Mhm.
favorite meal of the year.
Yeah.
Yes.
All that stuff. And then you've got all those, in Michigan, it'll probably snow and
Mhm.
and it does make you feel like Christmas is coming. And then once Christmas is over, 5 days later, I have a birthday. And then there can be no more snow. It can warm up. I'm had enough winter.
Yep.
It doesn't
Yep.
happen, but
I
that's what I
agree.
think
Yep.
I do.
Yep.
Yeah. So do you have a favorite TV or streaming show?
I love Friends. I've watched every season a million times.
Okay.
Yes.
It just never gets old. The jokes are still funny and
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
like my personality.
yeah. Okay. Kennedy.
I like all like the teenager things, like the summer I turned pretty, like
Oh,
Outer
yeah.
Banks.
Of course. Well, you should. You're a teenager. That's what you like.
Yeah.
So, 2 more questions. Favorite thing to celebrate?
A race win.
Mm-hmm. Kennedy.
Annie stole my answer. Either
That's okay. You can have the same answer.
or a birthday.
Or a birthday. Yeah. That's the number one answer.
Anybody's birthday. It doesn't even have to be mine. I just love birthday
Yeah.
parties.
If we were playing Family Feud, birthday's the number one answer.
Yeah.
And last question. As a little girl, did you play with cars or dolls?
Cars.
I played with my dolls in cars.
Okay. There you go.
And then
That's awesome.
but I would
That's
make
awesome.
I like to make like things to roll around in. I didn't really think of it as race cars, but I remember like I always loved like scooters, like sitting on top of like those wheelie things to move furniture.
Yeah. That's fun. See, you were already interested in racing. You didn't even know it for sure. Yeah. Well, girls, that's all the questions I have now. Here's my very last question. Is there anything that I haven't asked you about that we definitely need for people to know about Annie?
I don't think so. I feel like we covered everything. I feel like everyone's gonna know Annie at the end of this.
Yeah, I hope so. That's the point. How about you, Kennedy? Anything that we didn't ask you about?
No, I don't think so.
No? Okay. Well, if you
we
think of
covered
something
everything.
after we hang up, you'll have to send me a note and say, add this to the show notes.
Okay.
All right. So racing's over. It's the off season, if you can call it that. Do you
Yep.
girls work on your cars or you're focusing on school now?
I'm focusing on school, but I still like to stay in shape for the racing season. That's about it. Our
Okay.
cars are are sleeping for the
Yeah.
time being.
They need a break. They
Yes.
need a break. Yeah.
Yeah, they've
How
been through
about
a
you,
lot this
Kennedy?
year.
School? Do you play any sports in school?
Yeah, I've played lacrosse since first grade, and the season just started up again, so I've been going to workouts and
Okay.
practice soon. And then I also have to focus on getting money for next year, so raising on my sponsorship, and then
Okay.
focusing on school.
Yeah.
So
It's still a busy time. It's, I laugh when people say racing's in the off season. There is no off season.
There's no
You're
reason.
either raising money, you're doing interviews, you're, whatever it might be. And so, yeah, there really is not much of an off season at all. So,
Yeah.
well, I have really enjoyed visiting with you girls today. I've, started following you a little bit because, oh, just escaped me. Is it Jackson?
Yep.
Jackson is who, and that's your stepdad?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's who suggested that I talk to you girls, and I'm so glad he did, because I think there needs to be more of what Annie's doing for Kennedy, and so I would encourage, if you are an Annie, someone who can share with younger girls, then follow her lead. I'm sure she would be happy to. I'm going to offer your services, happy to share with other women how to coach a younger driver. And even Kennedy at this point could mentor or help girls that are just getting started. I mean, there's no line in the sand that says you can't go there. And so
Right.
I just want to encourage all of you women out there listening to do kind of what these girls are doing. They're making sure that the next generation has as much knowledge as they can, has as much fun as they can, and keeps that string of women coming into the sport. And that's what we need to do for sure. And it doesn't have to be the driver. That's the thing, people think that I only interview drivers. Oh no, I interview engineers and crew chiefs and moms and PR people and anybody that is passionate and involved in motorsports. And so you don't have to be a driver to be involved in motorsports. Did you know that you can be the makeup person for the on-air talent at a NASCAR race? That's a pretty cool job. I mean, there's just
That's
so
a
many.
thing?
That
Oh my gosh. Wow.
I've met 2 ladies that do that. That's a thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, honestly.
I mean,
That's a nice job to have.
it is. She owns one of them owns a beauty salon, and then she lives in Mooresville or somewhere in that area.
Mhm.
And so she goes and gets on a plane with whoever and flies to the races, and then she's there on the weekend and she does the makeup for the, like, Dale Jr. and Steve Letarte and whoever's doing the on air. And I'm sure other series do the same thing. They have hair and makeup people. So
yeah, they have to.
Anyway, pretty cool job, isn't it?
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to let you girls go. We've had a good day talking with you both. Carson Hocevar won the truck race. He's in the round of 4 for Phoenix. And so we're having a good day here in Kalamazoo, Michigan. And these girls are in Pennsylvania. And so we're going to say, go Steelers, go Lions. I've become a Lions fan. They finally can win a game. So go Lions. And then good luck to all the racers out there whose seasons are not over. Have a good end of the season. And then hopefully one day I'll see you at the track, girls, in person.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
It's so nice talking to you.
It's good talking to you too. I'm glad we got at least we met kind of face to face. And, I used to do, I haven't done it for a while, but I did a live social media show for a while with my friend Brett Timmerman. And we always told them at the end, and I need to remember to do this. At the end of the show, we would always say to our guests, the Women's Motorsports Network is like a family. And once we meet you and interview you, then you're part of our family. And so we always used to say, welcome to the family. So I'm going to say that to you girls today. Welcome to the family.
Thanks for having us.
No, you're welcome. All right. I'll be following you.
Awesome.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Take care.
Thank you for listening to the Women's Motorsports Network podcast. Subscribe to my show and follow me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. If you or someone you know would like to be featured in the Women's Motorsports Network News online magazine, this podcast, or Let's Talk Racing Live, my social media show, contact me via Messenger on Facebook at Melinda Russell, or send me an email at womensmotorsportsnetwork@gmail.com.